for $1 Million Mitts. Why did I call this $1 Million Mitts? Because I'm gonna make you look like $1 million, man. As long as you let me guide you, as long as you listen, as you learn the stuff that I'm gonna teach you with a pair of mitts. I'm gonna level up your mitt game 100%. I got a lot of things to say about mitt work because mitt work literally changed my life.
What's his full name? What's Coach Anthony's? Anthony's first name was Anthony's last name.
Anthony Rodriguez, Coach Anthony, and that corner of Wake Forest.
A lot of people don't know when I first came into this boxing game as a trainer, you know, mitts was really what people hired me for. Working with professional fighters that put me in world title corners right off the bat just because they like the way I hold a pair of mitts. This is something that your clients are gonna love. This is something that your fighters are gonna love. Always a lane for somebody who knows how to hold mitts. The one thing that I could say is if you're gonna do something, you wanna do it the right way. I like to think that I'm a person who could teach you how to do this at the highest level, considering I've been to the highest level of boxing.
2 rounds, and you're a world champion, but you gotta work.
He is a defending world champion fighting tonight.
With head trainer, Freddie Anthony Rodriguez.
I work with some of the best boxers in the world. Mitts is what literally put me in that position. You could be a great coach, you could be a great teacher, you could be a great personal trainer. But this is what's gonna capture their eyes. This is what's gonna make people look at you and make people say, hey man, that guy knows what he's doing. I wanna go ahead and work with that person. I'm gonna teach you, it doesn't matter if you have 0 experience or if you have a lot of experience, there's gonna be modules in this course that's gonna help level you up.
Man, you gotta change.
Yeah. Sean.
Whoa. Ooh. You see that?
Yeah, what's going on, guys? You know, I had to show you guys a commercial of what's coming soon, man. $1 Million Mitts is gonna be out very, very soon. A lot of people have been asking me for this, and the time is now. I probably putting this out a couple of years too late. If you want to be part of the waiting list, I am about to go ahead and drop that link in the comment section below for my guys out there who want to learn, or my gals as well, who want to learn how to hold mitts. So you can go ahead and make some money, man. $1 Million Mitts, man. I'm gonna teach you guys how to hold these mitts. You're gonna learn a lot. I'm going crazy. I'm adding a bunch of videos on there. So I would love for you guys to go ahead and put your name on the wait list. Put your name on the wait list because everybody on the wait list is gonna get first dibs. You're gonna get a crazy deal on it. I'm doing this right now for Black Friday month. So you guys definitely want to go ahead and jump on that. Also, my Black Friday sale is officially on and popping. If you guys ever wanted any courses from me, right now is the time to go ahead and grab something for me, man. I got all my individual courses going for $47, man, early bird special. And I got the Master Boxing Bundle, the cheapest I've ever done it. $267 for 16 courses. It's the cheapest I've ever gone. This is the last time I'm doing this with the Master Boxing Bundle and everything else because my focus is going to be $1 Million Mitts. So you guys are definitely going to want to go ahead and grab that because there's so much information on there. There's actually going to coincide with the $1 Million Mitts. So if you think about it, the $1 Million Mitts and my Master Boxing Bundle could work together because what's going to end up happening is once you learn how to hold the mitts, then you're going to want to go ahead and try some of the tactics that maybe we teach on how to set traps and counterpunch, angles and how to create them. You know, Defensive Wizard, which is Defensive Principles 101 in the Philly Shell system, and just everything else, the how to box the opposite stance, man. I mean, I got so much information out there that I've been putting out for over a decade. If you guys have been following me, you know I don't put out no bullshit. I give it to you guys to the highest level of boxing expertise that I possibly can. We got Fast Eddie Chambers all over the courses, professional boxer, professional world-class boxer as my demonstrating partner. So I'm just super excited and super hyped to get back into the mix with you guys because I know I've kind of taken a little bit of a break from the whole content thing and everything like that. And, you know, no days off November is an opportunity for me to give back to you guys and answer all your boxing questions and just show you that I'm really here to help the most that I can, but I'm really excited about $1 Million Mitch. So make sure you guys go ahead, get on that waiting list because the time is ticking, man. We're almost there. I mean, it's November 16th. I expect for this course to be out in a couple of days. So you definitely want to go ahead and get on that waiting list so you guys can go ahead and learn some of the Mitch stuff that I'm going to teach you. Okay, we go ahead and say what's up to some of my people in here. We got Caesar in the building. What's going on? We got Damien, what's going on? Yo, let me go ahead and talk to Instagram real quick because we do got you guys in here. Hold on. My bad. I'm definitely going to go ahead and say what's up to y'all. But anyway, man, we got QB Killer. What's going on, my guy? Yo, Johnny, what's up, bro? How you doing, man? How are you doing, bro? I am super excited. Give me 1 second, man. I am so sorry, guys. I probably should have had this locked and loaded already, but I'm here, man. Listen, I just drank a cup of coffee at 8:59 p.m. Eastern time, so I am super excited. We're going to go ahead and have some fun tonight, man. We're going to talk about everything. I know you guys want to talk about the Conor Benn fight. I know you guys want to talk about a lot of stuff. I know you got your boxing questions. I'm here for all of it, man. Let me just do this real quick. Instagram, you see what's going on. You see what's going on. Make sure you guys get in here. All right, we good. All right, now I can focus. Just had to talk to Instagram real quick. Let's get to work. All right, what's going on, man? Do you think you could be a great boxing coach with no professional or amateur experience? Absolutely. I never fought as a professional. Okay, so I fought as an amateur, but I never fought as a professional. I never won nothing crazy as an amateur, no national titles, nothing like that. I do think that you do need to know how to box, though. I do think that the more you learn how to box, the better a coach you can be. I definitely think that being punched in the face and going through certain adversities will make you a better coach. However, I think if you learn the game and you're around boxing for long enough and you learn from the right people, you could definitely be successful as a coach. I mean, I'm proof that you don't have to be a professional fighter to go into world title corners and help somebody win a world championship. I was able to do that. But going into the game with absolutely zero boxing experience and trying to coach fighters, that's a little bit difficult. So I would say that what I would do is learn as much about boxing as you can and don't rush that part of it. A lot of people, they come into the boxing game and they want to be trainers of world champions and stuff without putting in some of the groundwork. Like, I do think there's a certain amount of groundwork that needs to put in. There's fighters out there, there's coaches out there who never fought professional, but they got a lot of boxing experience, whether that's amateur boxing experience or they got a lot of sparring experience, or, you know, they've been around boxing at a very high level for a very long amount of time before they decided to start working with professional fighters. Working with professional fighters is definitely different than just working with the everyday person who wants to learn boxing. So you definitely need to be exposed to it to a certain degree. But is it possible? Yes, because it's been done before. There's many good trainers out there who never fought professional. And there's a lot of good trainers who did fight professional. It's about how you communicate. It's about your boxing IQ, the understanding of people, the understanding of the things that fighters deal with. And in order to be able to do that at the highest level, you definitely need to be exposed to it for a certain amount of time. I mean, I fought as an amateur from like 16 years old to about 20-something years old. And then when I stopped competing, I still continued to train, spar with professional fighters and whatnot. And then I opened up a boxing gym, and then I started training amateurs, and then I started working with pros. And then we went ahead and we started doing, you know, fighting on the big stage. I've been in a few world title fights before I actually got to help a fighter win a world title. When Hank Lundy fought Terrence Crawford, we fought for the title. We lost. Outlaw Eric Hunter fought Lee Selby for the world title. We fought on an Anthony Joshua undercard. We lost. Then I went ahead and started working with Tevin Farmer. His first fight with Kenichi Ogawa, he lost. But even though I felt like he won, he actually lost that fight. But then they went ahead and they found steroids in Kenichi Ogawa's system, and it got overturned to a no contest. Then, of course, we went ahead and fought Billy Dib, won the world title, defended it successfully 5 times. And then I got with Raymond Ford. We started winning some fights. And then from there, we fought Odebek for the title. They were both going for a vacant title. And Raymond got the knockout. And I feel like I was a big reason that he won that fight. So yeah, it's all possible. But as you can see, I took my bumps and bruises along the way before I got to that position. So can you do it? Yes, but it's going to take a certain amount of dedication from you. And you're going to really have to study and understand the game. And you're going to have to put in some work for sure. Hey man, I think that Ben did his thing, man. Congratulations to him. You know what I'm saying? I know he lost the first fight. He went ahead and he got it back, and you know, he did his thing and he looked great, man. Congratulations to him. What's going on, my boy Vic? What's going on, bro? Hope everything is well. Duncan, what's going on, coach? What's going on, champ? I'm chilling, man. El Futuro, what's going on, my guy? Yo, bro, me and you got to get together. What's up with Aiden, bro? How's Aiden doing, man? Me and you definitely got to get together. Motion blur. Hi, coach. I don't know why, but when I look and feel sharp while shadowboxing, but when I put on the gloves, I feel like I have noodle arms and I feel like I'm throwing maybe you're dealing with some nerves, bro. I mean, it's easier to shadow box than it is to actually get in the ring with somebody because there's nobody in front of you trying to hit you back. So when you get in front of somebody who's trying to hit you, your nerves can kind of, you ever heard people saying like you freeze up because of your nerves, like you get tense, so this is why you have to continue to do it to become something that you get used to. Like boxing is different than anything else because you have to learn how to fight under the conditions that you are not actually mad at somebody, right? So like right now, if somebody pissed you off, you know what I'm saying, or they disrespected you, or they put your family in danger, you're gonna have a different kind of a reaction because you're gonna be like, what? Nah, hell no. You know what I'm saying? It's fight or flight. You know what I'm saying? But in a boxing match, you know it's a sport. So now that you know it's a sport, you kind of like, you don't think of it as of a fight. You think of it as a sport, and that can kind of make you nervous. You know what I mean? Especially if there's people around or whatnot. So this is why you have to get exposed to it on a regular basis. And eventually, hopefully, if you overcome those tough sparring sessions, you'll be able to actually spar and then eventually fight. You know what I mean? What's going on, champ, man? Hope everything is good. Fight week. How do you see Haney Norman? Yo, I am super excited about Haney versus Norman. I got to watch more about Brian Norman. I've been seeing highlights of Brian Norman for some time. Obviously, I know who he is. I heard the sparring matches he had with Gervonta Davis. I heard that he did his thing. So, of course, I know about Brian Norman. And Devin Haney. How can I not know Devin Haney, right? Devin Haney's been very popular over the last few years. I mean, obviously, he had a very rough fight with Ryan Garcia. But other than that, Devin Haney was on a tear doing his thing. He's going up to a bigger weight class right now to fight Brian Norman. I got to tip my hat to him. This is not an easy fight to go up to 147. He does look in phenomenal shape, though. He does look like he's ready to go. So I am super excited about this fight. I'm going to watch some more Brian Norman fights this week. And I'm going to give you final predictions toward the end of the week. I don't want to give my full prediction because I have to watch Brian Norman and study him a little bit. And I don't want to just talk off of the whim. I mean, you know, my gut instinct, to be honest, tells me Devin Haney's going to win. My gut instinct. I don't know why. My gut instinct. But I got to go ahead and watch Brian Norman and make sure that I'm not wrong about this. So I'll be getting back to you on this. I'm going to study a little bit of Brian Norman. But what do you think? What's the best way to defend yourself against a scrapper? I'm going to need a little bit more detail of what you mean when you say scrapper. So let me know. We need to get together, coach. We need to talk 100%, bro. I'm going to message you on Facebook. I'm going to message you on Facebook tonight, bro. Matter of fact, I seen that you messaged me and I never got back to you. So we're going to set something up ASAP. Hold on, bro. All right. I started boxing October 1st and I'm gonna fight next April. How would you improve your skills fast or something? I mean that's up to you and your coach, champ. I mean, you and your coach got to get together. You obviously got to do a lot of sparring. You got to listen to your coach. You got to work on your fundamentals. You got to focus on your technique. You know, you got to focus on your conditioning. So that's really up to you and your coach, man. If you want me to be honest. If someone comes off the street knowing nothing about boxing, what do you look for before you put them in the ring to spar? If I take somebody off the streets, I teach them the fundamentals of boxing. I teach them the proper way to stand, the proper footwork, the basic jab, cross, hook, uppercut, the basic slips, the basic rolls, the basic ways to throw block punches. And then I work on those skills until they're ready to spar. And then once they're ready to spar, I have them apply it in sparring, and then I level up their sparring as they level up, and then eventually I let them compete. But I don't just let them go off the street and do whatever they want. Rody dropped Ryan with the same left hook counter on your video with Fast Eddie, and Devin couldn't do that. Norman by KO in 6. Damn. Okay, so that tells you that our stuff works. That tells you our stuff works. Pookie Man, what's good, bro? Coach Anthony, what's good? Appreciate your consistency. I've seen gains so far with my personal workouts. No days off November. You know the vibes, man. I appreciate you, man. What do you think from the middleweight that are current now is going to step up and carry the division like B? I don't even know who's in middleweight right now. Who's in middleweight right now? Give me some names. I'm not even sure, man. Norman's last performances have been dominant. I got Team Norman. Can you defend using the Philly shell? What do you mean, can you defend using the Philly shell? What do you mean? I mean, obviously the Philly shell is a defense, but what do you exactly mean? And I see you picking on Norman, man. A lot of people are picking Norman. A lot of people are saying that Devin Haney bit off more than he could chew. Oh, against a southpaw. Well, guess what, champ? You're in luck, man. You're in luck, man. I got a Black Friday still. How to box the opposite stance. I actually talk about the Philly shell against a southpaw, but I'll give you a real basic one real quick, man. Listen, if I'm here, right, let me get in front of the camera. If I'm here and I'm standing behind the shoulder, right, if somebody throws a straight right hand at me, right, let's say it's righty versus righty, orthodox versus orthodox, right? If you throw a straight right hand at me, I'm shoulder rolling the right hand, right? The right hand comes, I shoulder roll it, and then I shoot back my right hand. Well, if you're a southpaw, right, that right hand is still going to be the shot that I'm a shoulder roll, except now I'm shoulder rolling the right hook. So, like, if you throw a right hook at me from a southpaw stance, right, because now you got to shoot this shot. I'm orthodox. Your right hand's in front right here. You're shooting the right hook. I'm shoulder rolling the right hook. Now, the only thing is now it's kind of dangerous because if you throw a right hook straight left hand, I shoulder roll the right hand, I could run it to a left. So what I would do is more so shoulder roll the right hook and most likely bend the waist on the straight left hand. So if you look at guys like Pernell Whitaker and stuff, guys who used to fight real slick, they used to be really good at like going here, dropping down, ripping uppercuts underneath to the body, things of that nature. So you're going to use the same defense tactics, but slightly different. You know what I mean? So for the most part, everything's the same. If somebody's throwing a straight left hand at me, like I said, I was dipped like this. I'm going to bend the waist from a straight left hand. The same way if I was boxing the orthodox, their straight left hand would now be a jab. So when they throw a jab at me, I'm going to slip it. Well, now all they're doing is turning their body this way. That left hand's coming from a little further away, but it got more power. But I'm just going to go ahead and I'm still going to slip it the same exact way. But if you go ahead and you watch the course, we break everything down in more detail with demonstrations with me and Eddie on there. So check out the website right now. I mean, everything's on sale. The Black Friday sale has officially started. So make sure you guys go to CoachAnthonyBoxing.com and you can grab any one of my courses, or you can just get the Master Boxing Bundle and get it all for a super cheap price. Keep them questions coming, guys. Keep them questions coming. What's going on, guys? I need y'all to talk to me, man. Yeah, you're leaning for Haney, but Norman's the bigger puncher. That's the same way I feel. I feel like most likely, like if we can get Haney to utilize that jab, stay on his footwork, don't sit there and exchange with Norman. But that's what I want to see. I want to see if Norman. I have to watch more of Norman because I have to see how he cuts guys off, and what his speed looks like. You know, I know that he's a puncher, but I definitely want to see where he's at as far as dealing with somebody like a Haney. So I got to look him up. I got to watch some of his stuff. Out of the top 10 middleweights, there is nobody. How can they get that division back where it used to be, man? I mean, honestly, bro, I don't know. I mean, it just takes the right athletes to come in. You feel me? Like I think every so often, every division has like their certain divisions are more popular than others at different times. Like let's think about the heavyweight division. How long was the heavyweight division kind of quiet? And then as of recent, you know, with like the Tyson Furies, the Anthony Joshuas, the Deontay Wilders, the Luis Ortizes, and all those guys, they kind of revived the heavyweight division. But there was a long time where the heavyweight division was dead. The same exact thing with the lightweight division, and in those divisions, they were kind of like a little bit quiet. Remember when featherweights had the hottest division? I remember when it was Eric Morales, Barrera, Kevin Kelly, William McKennedy, Marco Antonio Barrera, Juan Manuel Marquez, and then it got super quiet. I mean, now we don't really have any featherweights that stand out that much. So every so often, certain divisions have their guys, and then other divisions die out, and it's just kind of like that. It's not a set thing where every division's always going to be popping. Right now, the middleweight division is a little bit quiet, but give it some time. Next thing you know, it's the hottest division. You feel me? But that's just how boxing goes. I'm ambidextrous, so fighting out the opposite stance course will help me out a lot. Yeah, 100%, bro. It's definitely one of my best courses. We definitely give a lot of good game on there, man. So this is what I'll do. I'll put my link right here for my individual courses, which are on sale. Okay, and you can go ahead and just check out everything that we have individually, and you could pick them like that. I also got my mini bundles. If you go to CoachAnthony.com, CoachAnthonyBox.com, you can also check out my mini bundles where I give 2 to 3 courses, my ebook, access to my private community, all for $47. So I got a bunch of deals. If you go to CoachAnthonyBox.com, there's a bunch of deals on there. It's the biggest Black Friday sale I've ever done, even bigger than the last ones that I've done. And my last sales was crazy. So you guys definitely want to go check out the website, and then, just grab what you need, man. But any questions I can help you with right now, I'm going to help you with. In youth athletics, there is an overwhelming push for specialization. Sports like hockey, basketball, baseball, and soccer are becoming year-round sports. Is this impacting boxing? I mean, I don't know exactly what you mean about specialization, but what I do know is that boxing's always been a year-round sport. So, especially amateur boxing. So maybe maybe break down that question a little bit more for me, because I'm not exactly sure. Like, I'm always been used to guys just fighting and they're back in the gym on Monday. You know what I mean? So I don't know exactly what you mean. Who you got winning that fight, champ? That's definitely going to be a good fight. Abdullah Mason versus Sam. I don't know how to say his last name. Noakis. Who you got winning that fight, champ? I'm going to see if I can get Eddie Chambers on here real quick, man, and talk to me, man. I'll be right back. Don't leave, guys.
For $1 Million Mitts. Why did I call this $1 Million Mitts? Because I'm going to make you look like $1 million, man. As long as you let me guide you, as long as you listen, as you learn the stuff that I'm going to teach you with a pair of mitts. I'm going to level up your mitt game 100%. I got a lot of things to say about mitt work, because mitt work literally changed my life.
What's his full name? What's Coach Anthony's? Anthony's first name was Anthony's last name.
Anthony Rodriguez, Coach Anthony, and that corner of weight 4.
A lot of people don't know, when I first came into this boxing game as a trainer, you know, mitts was really what people hired me for. Working with professional fighters that put me in world title corners right off the bat just because they like the way I hold a pair of mitts. This is something that your clients are gonna love. This is something that your fighters are gonna love. Always a lane for somebody who knows how to hold mitts. The one thing that I could say is, if you're gonna do something, you wanna do it the right way. I like to think that I'm a person who could teach you how to do this at the highest level, considering I've been to the highest level of boxing.
2 rounds, and you're a world champion, but you gotta work.
He is the defending world champion, fighting tonight.
With head trainer, Freddie Anthony Rodriguez.
I work with some of the best boxers in the world. Mitts is what literally put me in that position. You could be a great coach, you could be a great teacher, you could be a great personal trainer. But this is what's gonna capture their eyes. This is what's gonna make people look at you and make people say, hey man, that guy knows what he's doing. I wanna go ahead and work with that person. I'm gonna teach you, it doesn't matter if you have 0 experience or if you have a lot of experience. There's gonna be modules in this course that's gonna help level you up.
Man, you gotta change.
Sean.
Whoa. You see that?
All right, I just spoke to Eddie. Eddie said he will be on here in a few minutes. So yeah, let's go ahead and let's do this real quick. My man Jeff says, specialization in the sense that youth only do one sport, not an array of sports. Do you think boxing for young kids is the only sport they are doing year round? Most of the kids that I get that are boxing usually do boxing and do other sports, sometimes even at the same time. I got kids that box, and then like 2 days out the week, they're playing football. Some of them are playing basketball. I think it all depends, man. If you really, really want to get good at something, I truly believe it needs your full focus. Like, whenever you try to do more than one thing, I think truthfully what ends up happening is you start to go all over the place. Like, one moment you're here, one moment you're here. And I think that you're better off focusing on what you're trying to get better at. Now, on the flip side, you can get burnt out from doing the same thing for a long time if you're not having fun with it. So I think what ends up happening with kids is you got to kind of keep it fun, you know what I mean, and have them excited. And what I've noticed has been the most fun for kids is competition. So if a kid's competing and winning, they usually want to stick with it. If they're not competing, eventually they start to lose interest. So what's good about other sports like basketball and football and all those other type of sports, there's always like a game for them to play, like, right? Like they're always playing a game, they're practicing, they're playing a game, they're winning, they're losing, they're going through the emotions. And boxing, there's a lot of times where kids aren't competing for a long time because they're not ready to compete, because boxing takes a different enormous amount of skill set. So, you know, when you're getting punched, it's literally a fight. So with that being said, I think that keeping your kids interested is going to take a certain kind of kid. It's going to take a kid that just really likes boxing, because if they don't really like it, they're going to eventually be like, well, what's the point if I'm not competing? You see what I'm saying? And if they're not competing, then I think that it is cool for them to do several different sports and then just keep boxing as something that they do so they can learn how to defend themselves and they're not getting burnt out by it. Like they're doing it a little bit and then they're doing what they really like to do. But if you really want them to be competitive boxers, they're going to have to really put a lot of focus into it. And I would say drop everything, truthfully. What's your coaching approach to different types of boxers, like brawler or pure boxer? I mean, I try to work with what I got, man. I try to work with what I got. If I got somebody who's really good at boxing, then I focus on their boxing and I try to improve their inside game. You know what I'm saying? This is somebody else right here. We got the one and only. Uh-oh. What's going on? How come I don't see you, Eddie?
You should. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I don't know why. I got the thing on.
Do you see yourself in here?
Nah.
This is wild.
It's just taking a long time to load, brother.
That is weird as hell. I've never had this problem before.
A lot of new shit. They don't want to see me anyway.
Stage. Yo, what is going on here, bro?
I broke the camera, man. I told you.
Can y'all hear Eddie, yo? What's going on? Talk to me, yo. What the fuck? I can hear you, though.
You can hear me, but yeah. I know. I can see myself in the thing.
You see yourself in here with me?
No, not with you. Maybe it's because you got the
duel.
Yeah, maybe it's that. Could be that.
Could be
because I don't think we done that when I wasn't there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, give me 1 second. You can hear. They can hear you, but they can't see you. That is mad weird. I'm gonna stop doing this dual shit. Let me see here real quick.
It said it says you're in the show that everyone can see and hear you.
Everybody can hear you, but they can't see you.
But they can't see because of that. Probably because of that.
That is really corny, bro. Why would they even add this feature
if it can't be
if you can't add a person? Like, that is crazy to me. Hold on, let me. Oh, here we go.
Oh, well, they got it.
There we go, Eddie. I got you.
They figured it out.
There we go.
Oh shit!
All right.
I might have ruined everybody's night.
Eddie Chambers. So, yo, Eddie.
What up?
Somebody asked me a question before this, which I thought was really good. How do you feel about, I guess the word he used was specialization, in the sense that you're only doing one sports instead of an array of sports. So do you think that a fighter, you as an amateur boxer, when you were boxing, especially as a kid, because you started younger than me. When I started, I was already like 15 years old. I think you started at what, like 9, 10?
I started learning at 9, yeah. But I started competing later.
Were you doing a bunch of different sports, or were you just focused on boxing?
When I was 9, I started with just boxing, but then I got into football. Then I played football a little bit. Probably played like 3 or 4 seasons. 3 seasons,
Okay.
I think. Probably till I was about 12, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, or maybe 2. I might have. It might have been a couple seasons, 2 seasons. But then, and I still didn't really. I wanted to play ball after that. I wanted to play basketball after that. So I didn't even get a chance to even start with that because I started box a little before. I mean, I played ball like in the street, like always, every day. Had the ball in my hand and all that. Finally, was going to play in this little summer thing they had, this little summer program they had, but whatever happened, it fell through. Then my dad took me down to the gym, and then once my dad took me into the gym, I was, I sparred my first day, did a couple, smoker. I think I did like one smoker before I had my first fight. And then, I was in high school, and actually a little before that, I was like, yo, could I try out for the 9th grade team? My dad was like, nah, you boxing. So I had no chance of that. So, I think it was the JV squad. I was trying out for the JV squad. Actually, it was in 10th grade. And he said, nah, because I was already boxing. He was like, nah, ain't none of that happening. So you got to play. So, you got to fight. So I didn't really get a chance to experience like trying to juggle 2 sports. But I see kids nowadays, especially nowadays, even in boxing, I see it a little bit more that these guys are trying to juggle 2 sports. And with boxing, it's such a specialist kind of thing. You know what I mean? In a way, it takes so much to learn. You know what I mean? There's so many little details, so many little things you gotta pick up. So to try to do another sport, you can maybe just an athlete like that, and you can. But typically, if you're not gonna, and then the thing is with boxing, you don't have to do it quite the same way you do other sports. Like for basketball, you're not going to be able to pick basketball up late and have a career at it. It's just not going to happen that way. If you have a career at it, you started late, you may get a chance to play in some little small leagues or whatever, but it ain't going to be anything like where you're going to get to the NBA. Too many people's careers and lives ride on that to put somebody who's unproven in there. But with boxing, because they got these little niche things that you can do, like, like the Jake Pauls of the world creating this new lane for the influencers and all that. If you get enough of a backing, if you get enough backing, you get enough support, you know what I mean? Just your fans from another thing can bring you into boxing. And for whatever reason, boxing is just a little more open to that. And I think it's, it's entertainment, just like other sports are entertainment. But this is, I guess a gladiator sport. And they're figuring, well, look, yeah, just because I never done it my whole life. I fought people in the street before. I done had fights. I'm tough enough to get in there, but they don't understand just how detailed and how much goes into it. So that's why those guys that you see, a lot of these influencers, they can't really fully get into boxing. You know what I mean? Until like trying to fight like the top guys, the world championship level dudes, unless there's something like even with Jake, you see him fighting guys who was a little past their prime or a lot past their prime, or guys who never really who never really made it to the top because they're really not that good. And even then, it's a little bit of these guys aren't really really putting in the effort or capable of putting in the effort. Or case in point, you look at Jake Paul with Mike Tyson. Now the backing is crazy behind it. The fanfare is going to be so big because Mike Tyson is, a humongous name in the sport of boxing, regardless of whether it's now or whatever. He can generate more money. And then Jake Paul has his own following, and he's done so much in boxing recently, or at least for boxing recently with the women's boxing and just promoting this whole YouTuber thing. So, but it's not going to be, the weird thing is that Jake Paul and I got to ask that because I don't know for sure. Is that Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua thing for real?
Yeah, saying this for real. I don't think it's finalized as of yet. So that right there is pretty interesting. Let me answer this question real quick. So to my boy user, hey coach, hope you're doing phenomenal. Do your coach Anthony 2.0 differ from the elite mentorship program? Are they both online? So listen, to make this easier, champ, text me at 215-709-5437 or shoot me a DM on Instagram at Coach Anthony, and me and you will talk before we go ahead and make a decision, because I don't know exactly what you need. But if you text me, I'll text you back and we can finalize, and I can tell you what'll be the best avenue for you to go ahead and follow. But yeah, Eddie. So yeah,
That's
like,
real.
that's the thing about boxing. So like I answered the question. I told him, I said, you know, I think that you can play multiple sports and box, but what it all boils down to is how serious are you looking to be at boxing. If you're looking to be a national champion and then, you know, pursue boxing at a high level, I think it needs your full attention. If you're just doing boxing for, you know, you just want to be pretty good at it, maybe have a few fights here and there, you know, and just kind of do it, then I think, yeah, you don't need to be full-time with it. It all depends on what you're looking to accomplish.
That's true. I agree 100%. The way I approached it, I didn't really have much of a choice. I had to put 100% effort in it. Like I said, after I played football, I couldn't really do anything. I wanted to play basketball, and I couldn't. I had to put more attention into that because that was the focus. That's what my dad really had planned for me. That's the way he could really affect change in my life. And when I say I didn't have time for anything else, I didn't have time for anything else. Barely had time for school. So, but I did. I finished school and everything. And once I finished school, it just gave me more time to focus on the boxing. That's why I was able to turn pro at such a young age, even after only really having 4 years at amateur, is because I really put everything into boxing. You know what I mean? That's all I did every single day, you know, in the gym. You know what I mean? Literally, even on Sundays, man, most of the time we was in there, you know what I mean, training, doing something. You know what I mean? We had to do something every day for the sport.
No, yeah, 100%, man. So, yeah, it all depends, man. It all depends. Let me go ahead and answer some of all these questions. But as far as the Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua thing, man,
that's crazy.
If Jake Paul takes that fight, he's a crazy dude. That's all I'm gonna say. Especially if it's a real fight. Assuming everything is real. Right. Assuming that it's a real fight. Assuming that there's nothing being staged. Assuming that these are two guys that are actually going to box and give it their full effort. Jake Paul is a crazy, suicidal dude. If he thinks he's going to get into that ring and beat Anthony Joshua, if Anthony Joshua is really trying to win. I'm telling you, he is crazy. It's not going to happen. I mean, you're talking about a guy who was an Olympian, a guy who was a world champion, a guy who's fought the best boxers out there in the heavyweight division for the most part. I mean, we saw what happened to Francis Ngannou. I mean, there's levels to this. You know what I mean? And Jake Paul is definitely not at that level to be trying to fight a guy like Anthony Joshua in a real fight. Now, what happens behind the scenes? I mean, people have been talking about stage fights. I've never been a guy to really believe in stage fights as of, you know, after the Mafia, it was all involved with boxing back then. But I mean, I'm sure there's been cases of it, but with Jake Paul, I've always given him his credit for his victories. A lot of people have said, like, you know, Tyron Woodley gave him a hint, and I don't think Tyron Woodley, that was a fake knockout. I think that was a 100% real overhand right that knocked his ass out. That did not look fake to me. When he, so I mean, now I will say the Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., a little questionable. He didn't throw any punches that whole entire fight. That was a little weird to me. I mean, I understand your timing ain't there and you're trying to find your rhythm, but he didn't get anything. And when he did start to throw, he had success. That's a hard one. That's the closest one to a fight being thrown that I can say out of all the Jake Paul fights that I watched. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's just him not throwing any punches. I mean, I know he's been known to be like that, so he's a good pick, though. You know what I mean? I feel like Chavez Jr. is a good pick because he's been so up and down with everything, especially, you know, after his career, he kind of, you know, him just, I don't know, just not taking it seriously, not really. I could see them calling him for a check and him actually not performing properly. And that's just, you know, or even to a professional standard. I could see that with him. He's just undisciplined, you know what I mean? Got a lot of issues going on with him in his head. But But still, even then, not throwing any punches till like the 8th round was kind of bugged out. Literally, like almost 1 or 2 punches around. Not really even putting any real effort toward it to kind of make you a little leery of it. But everything else, is pretty much on the up and up. I mean, to some degree. I mean, the most that I could point to is like looking at the whole Mike Tyson thing. I just think that was it was a show. It was a show. It was just something, give Mike an opportunity to get back out there.
Yeah, the Mike Tyson thing was a show, but I don't think like a lot of people feel like Mike Tyson was carrying Jake. I feel like it was the other way around.
I think it was too. I think that was most of the reason why. I think Mike had some issues with his legs. You could tell by how he was moving. He's just 58 years old, man. What the hell you expect, man? He's about almost 60. What you think you're gonna be in there doing, hopping around like he was when he was in his even in his 40s? Mike was in his 40s. Jake would have been suicidal to get in there with Mike in his 40s, let alone, you know what I mean, in his prime. So, I mean, at 58 years old, he should have been carrying him, to be honest. I mean, Jake Paul's a 28-year-old athlete. You know what I mean? He has been boxing for a good amount of time. So
let me ask you a question, because you're
Mhm.
you're an older athlete now, and I know like every fighter is always gonna believe in themselves, right? But
Of course.
let's talk honestly here. You
Yeah.
as a man, 40 in your early 40s, do you think that a guy like Jake Paul can compete with a guy like you in your early 40s, inactive, if you had a training camp, let's just say for 8 weeks? Do you think he has a legitimate shot at this point? Or do you think a guy at your level should be able to clearly win due to your experience? Or do you think that your age and there's actually an excuse for you maybe not winning a fight against a guy like Jake, considering Drake's been, actively pursuing training in younger boxing for the last 5 years? Like, what's your thoughts on that?
I think if somebody is still able-bodied and they haven't taken too much damage in their early 40s, and they're former championship level kind of fighter, high level kind of fighter, even not championship level, even, domestically good or tough and in some kind of shape. Now, you got to be in some kind of shape. You can't just get in there and think, you know what I mean, you're going to get in there with big belly, you know what I mean, unless you James Toney. You're going to get in there big belly and beat up on a young guy. It's just, that's not realistic. But if you are keep yourself in some reasonable shape, and you're around the gym, you train periodically, you train fighters, and you're given the opportunity, you ain't got too much going on with your head, and you're given the opportunity to get a good camp in. I don't think he should be able to compete with you. That's my opinion. I think with me, dismissing some of these injuries I might have, I haven't taken a lot of damage. For the way I am and way I fight, I don't think that he has a shot. You know what I mean? Unless he somehow catches me and I ain't see it coming, which is crazy because that's what I do. I'm a defensive guy. I don't get caught with stupid shots except for one in my career, and I paid for it. And I ain't trying to let that happen ever again. So if I was to get in there with a guy like him, I don't know if he'd be able to deal with, the speed, the timing, you know what I mean, and the frustration of not being able to land comfortably. You know what I mean? It's a different thing when you're in there with somebody for rounds. You know what I mean? If you just get in there and it's going to be a quick 3-rounder, you know what I mean? Like a little amateur thing, you can go out there and just swing. No, but if we talk about 8 rounds, 10 rounds, and you got to keep finding me, you got to keep on, you know what I mean? You got to go through the fight.
How much time do you think a guy like you would need to be able to fight a guy like Jake Paul right now? Like, if you, let's just say you got the phone call right now, like last minute feeling, like, hey man, we need you to fight in December, and we're already 2 weeks into November. Do you think you think you can still do it right now, or do you, and not just you, any fighter at your level with your experience under those circumstances, or do you think even a guy at your level needs a certain amount of time to prepare for a guy like Jake Paul?
Well, I mean, it's also this another thing that's underrated, and a lot of fighters, once they stop fighting, they lose that desire, that hunger, that, you know what I mean? They're not really into it the way, and I'm not gonna sit there and say I'm one that is. I'm not really mentally there right now. But if I got an opportunity like that, somebody say, "Hey, man, you can get in there with Jake Paul, bro. You know what that means. You know what that." I'm like, all right, I'm ready to go. I call people like now, I'm like, yo, let's get some sparring, let's get everything going, blah blah blah.
Do you think
I'm ready to go.
enough time? Once he's supposed to fight? This is it December 14th? Would it be a month from today?
Basically, yeah.
Okay,
If that's the
so
case,
let's say
if it's the 14th.
okay, so that would be a month from today. Do you think 4 weeks is enough for a retired boxer who's been retired for years but has fought at the highest level for him to just get up off the couch, train for 3 weeks because you figure fight week? Let's just say 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks, and then he has to fight on that next Saturday against a guy who's been training every day but has never fought at a world-class level.
That'd
be enough time.
That may even things out to some degree, but then even not because
I'm just trying to be a double advocate here. What I'm trying to say,
I'm with you.
Being a world-class fighter overrated because we talk about how
hell no,
a retired world-class fighter overrated if he doesn't have a camp. That's what I'm trying to ask.
Oh.
Is it overrated or is those guys actually beatable? Because let's just say he beats a guy who's a guy of your level. Now people don't want to give him credit because they're like, oh, well, the guy wasn't training, obviously. But then again, it flips over like, but shouldn't the guy had enough experience to pull it off?
Honestly, possibly, barring injuries.
Right.
Because a lot of guys will get in there like myself. Got issues with my shoulder, got issues with my hip, got issues. Not saying they're debilitating, but they're issues. And I'm getting there with somebody who's completely able-bodied. Now, I can go out and play, I don't know how many games of basketball and hobble out the gym and still be all right. But, I mean, we talk about a world-class situation here. Like, I'm not trying to get in there being half-assed and look bad, have a Jake Paul come out with a win over me. Like, nah, fuck that. You know what I mean? The bag might be worth it, though. But what I'm saying is I still don't want that. That's a bad thing on your resume. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not 58 years old, so that kind of makes it even worse. But I think a person like myself who hasn't done crazy things, I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't waste my time chasing crazy. And I don't want to say that one, but I don't do
what, Eddie? Would you like to be specific here?
But I don't do bad things. I'm home. Well, no, I ain't home that much because I work so much. I work hard. I'm working hard. But come home every night.
But on the flip side, what I'm trying to also say is, well, I think this is good conversation, is this shows you how much you have to respect boxing because guy could have fought at the highest level of boxing and still need the time to prepare his body for a guy like a Jake Paul, which is crazy to say because like when you think of Jake Paul, you think Nickelodeon, you think YouTuber, you think right, like he's starting to. Some people are starting to be like, okay, I'm starting to see the effort he's putting in, and I see it already. But a lot of guys are just now starting to see the effort, and they're actually giving him a shot against certain people now. The thing is, these bigger names, guys who fought at the highest level, even though they fought at the highest level, you still have to prepare your body. Like you can't just think because you've been fighting at a high level for years that you could just sit on the couch, get up, and you could beat some guys depending how you feel that day. But we all know that you need preparation for the most part.
Oh yeah. Well, see, with me, it's a little different in a way. I mean, I'm not saying I don't. I need just as much as anybody else, right? But I've performed in situations that I was, asked or given a very small amount of time. Also, and that was when I was young, so I can't really say. But more recently, I have been, now this is only sparring, so you can only give it so much credit. I've been called and asked, for sparring on short notice. I've had injuries. I've literally helped guys out sparring with one hand, all that crap. You know what I mean? And I've always done well, even in those conditions. So, I mean, my body's a little different than a regular dude that's retired from boxing. You see a lot of these dudes that retire from boxing and they eat themselves. They eat themselves to death almost. It seems like even in their 40s, they big as a house. You know what I mean? I see the same thing with other sports too, but in boxing in particular, because a lot of these guys had to make weight, and now they ain't got to make weight no more. They eating everything that they can get their hands on. Trust me. So, but if you take it serious enough, and if you're still around the gym and you still keep yourself in some shape, I think the gap is so big in the amount of things that Jake has to do to become truly elite that it would be irresponsible for me to say, oh, yeah, I think he can go in there. You know what I mean? I think I would be irresponsible in telling a guy like him, yeah, you can go in there right now and beat this guy. Because I would be lying to him. I don't really believe that. I believe he has a lot more work to do. Now, if the guy is completely out of shape, he can't go 2 rounds, that's another thing. But even then, like I said, you look at a guy like James Toney. James Toney, even right now, sometimes he doesn't seem like he can't put a sentence together, but he can still put his hands together out there. You know what I'm saying? And even in his current situation, now I don't know that he beats Jake Paul. He almost 60-some years old, white beard, big belly, just chilling. You know what I mean? But I don't know that Jake is just gonna walk right through him, because James is gonna get in there and he gonna give the best he got, even in this situation with all that slick shit. Even if he can't throw a punch, fast enough to touch anybody with it. You know what I'm saying? But he gonna get in there and try.
Man, I think yeah. So I mean, it's just interesting to me, man, because with Jake right now, he's got a lot of boxers out there helping him out. He has access to the best nutrition, access to the best coaching that he can get, the access to he's got a lot of things in his favor. He's got all the time to spend focusing on boxing. He seems like a strong kid. So he's actually really putting in work, man. Like I seen him a video from 2018 and into now, and there is a big difference. Like, and that's only like 5, 6, 7 years, right? And he's beating some guys. So I mean, I'm not saying that Jake Paul is a world beater by any means, but you can't just go in there and like think that you're just gonna beat him up easily without some sort of a training. I think you need some sort of training. Even if you're already a fighter.
Well, look, I told you I turned pro after only 4 years amateur. Now, my 4 years amateur, I had almost 100 fights. So that's a lot of fights. So, and I had not only had almost 100 fights, but I was sparring every pro that I could get in the ring with. So I was constantly working. So I'm not saying that he's not doing what I did, but I don't know if he really is. My schedule was crazy back then. If he's able to do something like that, then maybe he should be ready right now.
Yeah, I think his 5 years of boxing is definitely different from yours. I mean, you started much younger, you had real competition experience, and you were fighting a lot, compared to what he's doing. I mean, he's obviously hand-picking opponents, always getting the advantage. And that's why a lot of people don't like Jake Paul. Even though the fight with Gervonta Davis was very intriguing, I was actually pretty interested to see how that would play out. Now, I personally think this Anthony Joshua thing, I don't think it's signed. But I think more so, I think what he does is he calls out these big names knowing that the fight's not going to happen, just so people could be like, damn, he called him out. Damn, like he called out Canelo. Now he's calling out Anthony Joshua. I personally don't think that's the fight that's going to happen. But if it does, and it's a real fight, man, I mean, what can we say at this point?
Until them two motherfuckers get in the ring,
you don't believe
ain't no way I'm believing that shit going to happen. I'm like, oh, man, he got sick in the dressing room. Something happened. Fight off. I'm like, yeah, kind of waiting for that. Until them motherfuckers in the ring throwing punches at each other, I do not believe it's going to happen. That's a crazy fight to think that, Jake Paul coming from. That just shows you, man, the power of social media, man. You know what I mean? Look at what this dude is at. Now, he already had a following. He already had money.
What about Jake Paul versus Deontay Wilder? Jake might have a good chance with that fight. Wilder's legs are skinny and his boxing skills aren't the best. That could be a KO for either fighter.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
Nah, you know what,
Man.
bro? I mean, Deontay is a little bit
Come on,
older.
man.
He's a little bit on the downside of his career, but I mean,
Not a
he
little
beat
bit. He's a
Luis
lot of,
Ortiz,
from what
bro.
I've seen.
He
He
beat
looked bad.
He beat Luis Ortiz, bro. Like, we
That's
can't
crazy.
forget that. And Luis Ortiz could fucking fight. Like, he knocked his ass out, even though technically I thought
Twice.
he got knocked out before and they didn't count it. But Luis
Yeah.
Ortiz
Luis
got
Ortiz,
knocked.
and he was winning both of those fights.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm
Mhm.
just saying, if he could beat that guy, he should be able to smoke a Jake Paul. But again, he hasn't, I don't know, bro. I mean, it's like Jake Paul's like, they've done such a good job with the marketing and the way that they've been playing this out that it can actually have you thinking now. Like, even an educated mind could be like, damn, hold on. I don't know. Like, that shows you the power of matchmaking and marketing and all of that type of stuff.
Bruh. And this is why I said, man, I'm not completely against this shit now. At first, I'm like, man, I worked all my life to get to where I did, and then you got some of this motherfucker who ain't never had a fight in his life, and then he come out and he doing it. It's a little bit of the hurt talking, but the reality of it is, it's not. It's like when you look at somebody doing that and able to create their own lane, you got to respect it. You know what I mean? We all just wish we could have done that shit before him. You know what I'm saying? If I tell you what, if I could have fucking go back in time and I had a damn magic wand, I'd be like, I'm doing what Jake Paul did before anybody else did that shit. They're gonna be looking at me like him. They might hate me, but guess what? I'm gonna be rich beyond belief. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna have boxing in a chokehold in a way that I'm helping the sport move on to better, creating better things. Like, look what he's doing for women's boxing. Come on, man. I'm not hating no more. I'm just trying to figure out what the hell he doing so I can
Be part of it. Yeah, we trying to be part of this shit.
so I can help this motherfucker. Make boxing great again.
I mean, I'm surprised they haven't called you in to be a sparring partner,
Well, I mean, listen.
You know what though? I can actually get you in that camp now. Now I could. If you were like,
You think so?
Yeah, I know.
Hey, fuck it. Why? I mean,
I
know, coach motherfucker. Everybody.
I got Raymond Ford in the camp with him.
That's crazy.
I did, man. Now this is a fact. This isn't just me talking. Like, I got Raymond.
No,
Ford
I believe you.
So, I mean,
You ain't. I know.
If he's fighting a heavyweight, Eddie, maybe you'll help him get ready for Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua did send you that hateful DM. I'll never forget what he said. So it might be payback time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. The only problem is I ain't 6'6". If I was, he wouldn't have been sending me that hate mail.
Hold on. Anthony Joshua is 6'6".
Yeah.
It's a big boy, bro.
250
Jake Paul's going to sleep. Jake Paul going to sleep in the first round, bro.
That's why I said he bugging fight. You know what? And it's like, Anthony Joshua is a good fighter skill-wise, but his size and athleticism makes him championship level. So then when you put Jake Paul, who the jury's still out on his skill level, and he's about my size, my height, bro, you taking a hell of a chance because that dude is going to be a good 25, 30 pounds heavier than you at least. I think Jake Paul like 225 or something like that, maybe 230. If he can get, man, I just don't see it, bro. I don't see what he's would. I mean, if I don't really believe that this is going to happen, and for his sake, I would hope not. You know what I mean? But then he fucking around and gets in there and wins on some bullshit, which I would never imagine. That would really have me really questioning a lot of things.
Damn, Sage said AJ not good at anything. Damn. I don't know about that. He's not a bad fighter. I don't think AJ's a bad fighter. I don't think he's as good as like a Tyson Fury.
No, he's not.
But I don't think he's a bad fighter. I think he's a solid heavyweight for today's generation. I mean, out of the guys that we got out there right now, he's, B plus. I mean,
skill wise, he's B plus. I'm not saying he's not skilled at all. He's got some good skills, But I think his size and athleticism and strength play a huge role in what makes him, special.
Jake Paul
Right.
lost to Tommy Fury. How is this a question? Good point.
Yeah, very good point. That's what I'm saying.
Did you see Tommy Fury when he was out there with the Furies?
When I was out there, he was in camp with us.
He was in camp. Okay.
I knew him for all that, bro. Like I got pictures with him when he was a little kid, when he was 12.
Right.
I can show you pictures of it. I got it on my IG. It's in the archive right now. But
this is ability boxing. I thought this was actually Sage from our gym. I was trying to put two and two.
that's Cam. Oh shit, what up, Cam?
Cam, what's the Sage shit, man? Well, I'm confused.
That's what I'm like. What the hell?
Yeah.
I don't know. They popped this. Got something going on. Cam hit me on the phone, and I was looking like I gotta get back to him after we done. But now he on the live. Okay.
Yeah, my big shout out to my guy Cam.
Yeah, man.
Killer.
We doing some things in a different realm. Just wait and see. Things are gonna pop up soon for all of us.
I'm a short southpaw. What's the best tip you can give when sparring a taller opponent?
Man. A short southpaw. I hate y'all, mother. It's like, no. But I fought. That's my only fight I had at cruiserweight. Was a short southpaw. He was 5'8", but he was slick and he was sharp, and I wasn't. I wasn't prepared for the fight as I should have been, and I couldn't get what I wanted, and he ended up winning the decision. So short southpaws against taller opponents. You just got to be really.
Oh yeah, it sounds almost like an advantage more than anything.
Yeah, because if you can get somebody reaching at you, once their arms go by you, if you're sharp enough, if you're defensively solid enough, once their arms go by you, if you can make them miss, you can easily make them pay. You understand what I'm saying? Now, the thing that a guy that's taller has to do is maintain that distance. If he can maintain that range and keep his hands on you, you know what I mean, then he can win. But if you're reaching and trying to keep a smaller guy out and you're missing and you're not able to land anything, especially if he's pressing or if he's coming forward, or even if you're coming forward, then as soon as the hands go by him, those counter opportunities are going to be there. You know what I mean? You just gotta be sharp. You gotta be well versed at what you do and what you're good at, and make them pay. Look at Isaac Cruz. You know what I mean? For most every time he fight, even in those lower weights, he's the shorter guy, but he makes you pay constantly. You reach at him, especially him coming forward with that pressure and those heavy shots, he making you pay. So you know what I mean? Being short. Now I know you said southpaw, but being short in general is not necessarily a disadvantage if you can figure out a way to make it work for you.
Eddie, are you going to be able to do some demonstrations with me tomorrow? If not, it's all good.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
Yeah.
All right, y'all get great tips on boxing. What's the best way to get a solid stance and base? So my thoughts for the next 2 weeks, guys, tell me if you guys like this idea. My thoughts for the next 2 weeks was to do like demonstrations from each one of my courses, or maybe a couple of courses in one day. You know what I mean? So like when somebody asks a question like that, like how's a good base? Like tomorrow we can actually do some demos. You know what I mean? Like how we like to stand and hand positioning and how we like to keep our balance and stuff like that. And then as we progress throughout the next 2 weeks, even talk a little bit more about some of the more advanced stuff, like working the angles, some of the defense, kind of like we did the Philly show one the other day, but our sound quality wasn't the best. I might have to say, let's redo that one. A lot of people loved it, but there was just like a little sound barrier we was having. So something like that. So if y'all think that's interesting, let me know in the chat, and we'll make that happen for you over the course of the next 2 weeks. Again, the same thing. What's the best way to work on snap and form? What's your ideas on the snap, Eddie? Because that's a question that I get a lot. What's your idea on the snap?
I think you put your hands in the most basic position, and I think a lot of guys try to force power or speed and try to shorten up their punches to make them seem faster, or try to put too much body or too much effort and the shots that don't necessarily require it. I think in order to get the snap properly, you need to throw the punch fully. That means from A fully to B and back, and let that recoil be naturally reset, as opposed to trying to pull it back real fast, which in most cases guys will throw a shot out. It'll be half thrown and then they'll pull it back. And, that's their equivalent or their way of making it, faster. I think you need to learn how to throw the punch in its entirety. Like I said, from A to B, from your chin to the other person's chin, and then bring it back fully. Practice that consistently. I think I had a guy in the gym today that was trying to do just that. He was trying to be fast and trying to throw a whole bunch of shots. Steps was off, stance was a little too wide, steps were a little too big, trying to force these actions to happen in an unnatural way. And it typically turns and looks amateurish, and it puts you in a bad spot, you know what I mean, defensively. So do it basic, the very basic way to throw the punch. Throw it, like I said, fully all the way through. The one, you know what I mean, the jab, the right hand, the left hook. Every punch you practice, every punch you throw in shadow boxing, make sure you throw it fully, all the way out. You know what I mean? And work on fully completing the punch, and the snap will naturally come over time. You know what I mean? I think if you keep choking the punches, or you keep, barely throwing them, or throwing them and trying to throw too much power in them, the technique of it is going to falter, or it's going to continue to be off. You understand what I'm saying? So I think it's important to throw the punch full out, practice it daily, and that snap will come.
Can you make some strength and conditioning YouTube videos? When I lift weights, I lift heavy, but I'm starting to get a little stiff. I heard that plyometric exercises are better for fighters that heavyweight training, because plyometric works the fast twitch fibers, and fast twitch fibers are important for explosive, quick movements. What's your thoughts on this? Any thoughts on this, Eddie?
Honestly, I think explosive training, like even powerlifting to some degree, certain lifts are beneficial. You know what I mean? To be honest, deadlifts and all that. I think training like a bodybuilder can be a little rough though on fighters and make them a little stiff. If you train like a bodybuilder, like certain parts and like that, and you know about that. So I think that can be a little rough. I think you should train to lift like you would train as a fighter. You know what I mean? Try to be a little more well-rounded, focus more on strength and explosive power and speed, rather than just lifting for size and attraction. Like, you don't want, you know what I'm saying, having nice biceps and abs and all that shit is cool, but if it ain't gonna help you throw a jab faster or a right hand harder, then is it really helping? You know what I'm saying? If that's what you're aiming to do. So I think explosive power is the most important, and figuring out how to generate it. It's like me I like to do cleans. I like to do, explosive deadlifts, like overhead presses and stuff like that, but explosive ones. Nothing like just pressing over, trying to move as much weight by being strong, or, I say strong, but having the greatest shoulders. I mean, I'm not saying that won't help. You know what I mean? Even bodybuilding lifting can, to a degree, help your strength, but then it may make you stiffer and, not able to move as well. You know what I mean? So I think for me, balance, explosive power, you know what I mean? Things like that I think is good. High rep work, you know what I mean? Circuit training, stuff like that. That's me.
Yeah, I mean, look, to be honest, man, I got mixed thoughts on it. I mean, I don't think it can hurt if you have the right trainer who's very experienced with, explosive training and Olympic style training and things of that nature. I think it could be very beneficial. I don't see how it can hurt a fighter, but from my own personal experience, like, I never personally did it when I was competing, and I've never worked with a professional fighter that actually did a lot of it. Like, for instance, I give you an example, Raymond Ford. He wasn't doing that. And I mean, he would do a little bit of weights, some circuits and stuff like that, but it wasn't like a lot of emphasis on that, and he won a world title without it. And a lot of fighters from many years trained, like, this is kind of a new age thing, like a lot of this type of stuff. Like, now, don't get me wrong, can it help? Yeah, how can it not? If you got the right system in place for it. I think it can be helpful. Do I think it's a necessity? I don't personally do. I think that if you're sparring, I think if you're hitting the bag, you're sparring, you're doing your conditioning work, which is like, you know, your road work, your conditioning stuff in the gym, which is just the natural stuff that we like to do for boxers, calisthenics, you're eating right, you're sleeping right. The boxing routine alone is very grueling on the body. And I think that with some additional calisthenics, that's all that's really needed. The most important thing is can you perform? Can you compete? You know, in the sparring, are you getting the rounds in? Are you letting your hands go? Are you strong? Are you able to absorb the punches? And can that stuff be helpful? Probably. But we've seen guys do that stuff and get tired in 6-7 rounds. And we've seen guys back in the day who didn't do that stuff fight 15 rounds. And we've also seen on the flip side, guys do that stuff and it helps. And so I just think that it just depends. But I think that what happens is too many people are putting too much emphasis into the strength and conditioning aspect of it now that they're losing from the boxing side of it. And we all know at the end of the day, anything that you do for boxing is a supplementation and an addition to the boxing training. If you like the run, the running shouldn't be the core focus. It should be the boxing and you get your runs in. If you are doing strength and conditioning shouldn't be the core focus. It should be the boxing, because we already know that you have what's it called? What's the word that I'm looking for, man? There's a certain word. Is this sport specific training. Well, there's nothing more sport specific for boxing than boxing. Okay, so you give me a guy like James Toney who sparred himself into professional fights. Didn't run, didn't do all that other bullshit, and beat up guys like Evander Holyfield, who had a freaking phenomenal physique, and cooked them. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I mean, granted, that wasn't the best version of Evander Holyfield, but my whole point being is he did that to many other guys, and it wasn't the strength and conditioning that did it for him. It was the boxing. So we have to remember what sport we're in. Now, if you're just a guy who wants to do a little bit of strength training and box because it's your own personal thing, like you know, you're just doing this for you, right? Like, let's just say you're not a fighter. You're just like, I like boxing, but I also want to be explosive. Then I say, hey, man, do a little bit of everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could do some weights and you could hit the bag a little bit, shadow boxing too. You could do it your own way. You just do whatever. You know what I mean? If you're eating right, your body's going to transform. But if you're really looking for like the golden nugget of this shit and you're really trying to be the best boxer you could be, my personal opinion, put all your effort into the boxing. You're going to get in fantastic shape and let everything else be an addition. You know, the push-ups, the pull-ups, the plyometrics. Think about some of the boxing workouts that we do, man. You do the push-ups, the clap push-ups, the pull-ups, the table work that you do for your core. I mean, the medicine ball throws, the medicine ball slams, the sledgehammers, the flipping of the tires. Like, these things get you in fucking shape, man. Like, you're doing that, you're running, you're sparring 6 rounds 3 times a week or 8 rounds or whatever. Bro, how much more do you think your body can really take? Like, your body needs to rest too. You know what I'm trying to say?
Look, I agree 1,000,000%, but then there's also the other side too. The heavier a guy is, I think the more important strength becomes.
I agree. I think for the heavyweights, the game is a little different. I think we have to keep that into account. The heavyweights need a little bit more of that. I 100% agree with you.
Yeah, because, you know, like now we're talking about moving mass, you know what I mean, in a sense, because, you know, these guys will wrestle you, lay on you. And if you're not, and like I've seen it with certain guys who are great boxers, even at lower weights, and you like, damn, if he was just a little stronger. You know what I'm saying? Like my man, Tony Harrison. Tony Harrison, fantastic. Boxed his ass off. Beat one of the twins. And I think the only thing, and I'm not saying he wasn't lifting. He might have been lifting like a motherfucker. I don't know. But if I felt like if he was, and I ain't saying he wasn't strong, but if he had that explosive power behind that, and like that extra sturdiness a little more, I don't know if the twins would have been able to touch him. I mean, well, Jermell and this one in particular. I look at stuff like that and I'm like, for those kind of guys, I feel like that gets them over the hump. There's certain guys that I believe need it more than others. especially if you fighting a guy who's a little
I
stronger.
like what you
You know,
just said. I like what you just said because
Yeah.
that lets you know that boxing is also not a one size fits all because
Yes,
some
sir.
guys lack in certain areas. I get guys all the time that they ask me questions on here like, hey, coach, when I throw my right hand, I'm not generating no power. Or when I'm throwing a jab, and I'm like, bro, I got to see you do it. I got to see why. I can't just like say, oh, I know the answer of why your right hand sucks. It's like, I don't know until I
Damn, he
see
said,
it. So it's the same thing with a fighter, right? It's like I don't know what you really need till I see you. Like the fundamentals are the fundamentals. You know what I mean? The stuff that we
Right.
teach in the courses, that's the fundamentals. Like that shit works. We know it works, so we compile them into courses and we sold them. That stuff works. But when we're talking about the specifics for you, what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong, we have to actually see you, work with you, and see you actually perform. Like I'll give you an example. There was this dude the other day. I was at LA Fitness doing some weights. Actually, yesterday, no cap.
Yeah.
He came up to me, Coach Anthony, bro. I'm a big fan of yours, man. I can't believe you're here working out. Yo, can you do me a favor? Can you look at me real quick? I'm in the. He actually said he knows you too. Real tall white dude. I don't know his freaking name, man. He's a real tall, slinky white dude, and he has some good punches on him. And
Wait,
he's like I don't know. He was boxing southpaw too. But anyway, he's hitting the bag, right? He's shooting a sharp jab and a sharp hook, and he's like, cock, and he's like, yeah, man. So what do you think? You think I could go pro? I'm like, bro, I gotta see you box. Like, yeah, your jab and your hook looks great on the heavy bag. Congratulations. I gotta see you box. Like, I don't like until I see you get in that ring and see what you're dealing with, see what your strengths, your weakness. Honestly, the true answer is anybody can go pro. But my point is, if you wanted to have a realistic conversation, I don't know till I see you box, and
Right.
that's when I know. Okay, he needs more endurance. He needs more strength. You need more of that. You need more of this. You see what I'm saying? But let's think about
Yep.
some of these fighters like DeMarco Antonio Barrera, a lot of the Mexican fighters. Let's think
Yeah.
about those guys. You know for a fact those dudes ain't doing no plyometric. Like they're not doing these heavy
No.
training sessions, and they're strong. They're beating motherfuckers up. They're letting their hands go. They're focusing on their boxing, but this is the lighter weight classes. But they're focusing on their boxing. They're like those guys they're not doing all of that because they could clean or they could do a freaking Olympic lift. They're doing that because they're
Right.
constantly working on punching.
Oh yeah.
And I know for a fact because I've trained with Mexican trainers before, and their whole thing is cardio.
Yeah.
And they're able to do a whole lot, and they're able to perform and fight hard, bro. Like fight
Yeah.
really hard for a lot
Yeah.
of rounds. So it just depends. Like,
Yeah.
I think there's more than one way to skin a cat. Like they say, like, listen, you see these Olympic what are these guys? These gymnasts.
Yeah.
These guys are built like freaking
Strong.
bodybuilders, if not better, and they're doing body weight calisthenics, bro.
Every day and moving and throwing their body weight around like it ain't nothing. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
you see
That's
these
true.
guys in the hood. You see these guys in the parks and stuff. The pull-up dudes, like the back in the day, the Rough Rider type dudes.
Yep.
Like, all they did was pull-ups, push-ups, dips,
Yep.
squats and bro, their bodies are phenomenal. You know they're strong. They
They're
didn't
strong as hell.
they're getting to the same destination to where you're trying to go with the elite. So I think it also comes down to what style do you choose, how consistent are you with it, and how you feel, and learning when to pull back and learning when to push a little more. I think it's all trial and error. I think it's all testing. I don't think that anybody has the full answer. I think that it's something that you kind of just play around with it till you find what works for you. And that's going to take a little bit of trial and error, you know what I mean? Because you might do some of this strength and conditioning stuff with the boxing, and then come to find out you feel weak, and you're like, though, I think I was doing too much strength and conditioning, man. I feel like I overtrained, or the other way around, or I feel like I could have been a little stronger. I think I did too much. So I think that it takes a little bit of tweaking and trial and error, and you figure it out on your days. And then you got even the nutrition, like, bro, all of this is why data is important. You got to kind of know what you're doing on a day-to-day and kind of fill your body out. Okay, I feel like this. You know what I mean? And that's what I've noticed works best for the guys I've worked with.
Yeah, you're right. You're 100% right. It ain't no one size fits all for everybody. I think it's a case by case basis, and most of the time people will forget that and try to train. And a lot of these guys try to train the same, train everybody the same, and it just doesn't work out typically. So for me, I agree. I know, me being a smaller heavyweight, I had to be a little more into the lifting. I got into it at like 16 and really picked up a lot at 16, 17 years old. And then as I progressed and I moved from Pittsburgh to Philly, I started to get more information on it and started working with guys who were, high level, Division One, like Villanova, the football team. Their strength and conditioning coaches. I was working with them for a while, and then my guy Haas, who has so many different, I wanted to name certifications and so much information. Been around strength and conditioning for years. Been a high level trainer for years. So I mean, I got so many guys and so much I've learned strength and conditioning wise from them. And for me being a heavyweight, I think it's a necessity. But you're right. Not everybody needs it, especially at those lower weights. It's not always a necessity. Sometimes it can. I don't want to say it can slow you down so much as maybe it can make it a little bit harder for you to get down the weight, and then you have to move up, and you don't want to move up sometimes as fast as some of these guys would have to if they lifted. So, yeah, I can't deny. And the body weight exercise, the body weight work can be just as effective. So, yeah.
I think it all depends. You know what I mean? Like you got guys who still climb rope, man. I seen Boots climbing rope. You know what I'm saying?
That shit's hard, bro.
I seen Boots in the heavy bag with freaking a baseball bat. Like there's all types of things you could do to get similar results as some of these other new age ways of training. I just think, like I said, it all comes down to what style you pick up and how consistent and as long as you're doing your boxing, eating right, sleeping right, and getting your cardio to where it needs to be, I think, you know what I mean? I think you'll be all right. You know what I mean? So I just think that people are just overthinking some of this stuff. I do believe, though, like if you weight train the wrong way, like you said, like if you're focusing on like 8 to 15 reps, I mean, that's when you get into hypertrophy or hypertrophy, whatever it's called. I always get that wrong. And that's when you start to build muscle size. And then that's what puts you out the weight class where you want to focus more on strength. So that's what they kind of say is better to do the lower rep ranges because that's where you're just focusing on the explosiveness and you're not looking to develop the muscle size. The bigger the muscle, now, obviously, the more you're going to end up weighing in the long run if you consistently train for gaining size. So gaining size and getting strong are two different things. You know what I mean? So if you are going to weight train, they say it's best to do very heavy weight for low reps as opposed to lightweight for a lot of reps. Anything more than 10 to 20 reps, like now you're starting to build size on the muscle. And then next thing you know, you got to fight bigger guys. And you're like, damn, why the fuck I got to fight these bigger guys? And it also depends on how you eat. Your nutrition plays a big role on it too. You know what I mean? If you're in a caloric deficit and you're training, you're going to lose weight anyway. So there's a lot of little things to it. You know what I mean? But just remember that boxing training is grueling on its own if done correctly. If done correctly, boxing training is grueling on its own. Guys out here are bullshitting their boxing training, whatever. But if you're training like a motherfucker who's really boxing, you're putting in the rounds on the bag, you're putting in the rounds on the mitts, you're putting in the rounds in the sparring, you're doing the road work, you're doing the core, you're doing the calisthenics, bro, your body is beat the fuck up already just off of that. You know what I mean? But a lot of guys are they're toning that back so they can add the strength and conditioning. Then when they run into a motherfucker who's focusing on boxing hardcore, they get their ass the fuck up. You know what I mean? Because again, whatever you focus on, that's where you improve the most. You know what I mean? All right, that's a long take on that one right there.
He ain't lying.
Coach, if you put more weight on your back foot than the front foot, or try to keep it balanced most times. Shakur seems like someone who puts more weight on the back foot, pretty planet. Yeah, I mean, we both, me and Eddie, both here teach initially to start off with your weight a little bit more on the back foot. But you're going to transfer your weight as you fight, right? Like if you're coming forward, if you're being aggressive, your weight's naturally going to come to the front foot. There's going to be times where you may be trying to bait a guy or you may be in just a balanced position. So, yes, we start off here, but that doesn't mean that we stay there the whole entire time. You're going to be going to the front foot in moments. If I'm shooting a left hook to the body, I'm putting my weight on the front foot to shoot the hook to the body. I'm not
shooting it from back here for the most part. I mean, you probably could still get it off on some sneaky shit, but for the most part, you're putting more weight on the front foot because you want to be more effective with that power on the front leg. So being on the front foot isn't a bad thing. It's just when and why you're doing it. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
A lot of questions coming in, man. We've been on here for 1 hour and 30 minutes. This week, guys, we are definitely going to be doing some demonstrations and stuff for you guys. No days off November. We're already 2 weeks in. Real quick commercial break. Eddie, you haven't seen the commercial yet. Let me show it to you, man. I got to show you the commercial. We already know $1 Million Mitts is coming out in the next week or so. For $1 Million Mitts. Why did I call this $1 Million Mitts? Because I'm gonna make you look like $1 million bucks, man. As long as you let me guide you, as long as you listen, as you learn the stuff that I'm gonna teach you with a pair of mitts. I'm gonna level up your mitt game 100%. I got a lot of things to say about mitt work because mitt work literally changed my life.
What's his full name? What's Coach Anthony's? Anthony's first name was Anthony's last name.
Anthony Rodriguez, Coach Anthony, and that corner of weight 4.
A lot of people don't know when I first came into this boxing game as a trainer, mitts was really what people hired me for. Working with professional fighters that put me in world title corners right off the bat just because they like the way I hold a pair of mitts. This is something that your clients are gonna love. This is something that your fighters are gonna love. Always a lane for somebody who knows how to hold mitts. The one thing that I could say is if you're gonna do something, you wanna do it the right way. I like to think that I'm a person who could teach you how to do this at the highest level, considering I've been to the highest level of boxing.
2 rounds, and you're a world champion, but you gotta work.
He is a defending world champion fighting tonight.
With head trainer, Freddie Anthony Rodriguez.
I work with some of the best boxers in the world. Mitts is what literally put me in that position. You could be a great coach, you could be a great teacher, you could be a great personal trainer. But this is what's gonna capture their eyes. This is what's gonna make people look at you and make people say, hey man, that guy knows what he's doing. I wanna go ahead and work with that person. I'm gonna teach you, it doesn't matter if you have 0 experience or if you have a lot of experience, there's gonna be modules in this course that's gonna help level you up.
You gotta change.
Sean.
Whoa. You see that?
All right.
Oh, yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Eddie, you've been the one demonstrating these videos with me, man. How many videos do you think we've done for that course?
So, I don't know, like fucking 80.
Yeah. So let me ask you, Eddie, let me ask you this question now. For mitt work, right? Obviously, you've been a fighter and now you're a coach. How do you enjoy mitts, and how do you think mitts has helped your fighters, well, our fighters for the most part, and your personal clients? How do you think it's helped them, and how do you like it now that you're on the other side, not punching the mitts, but holding the mitts? And the people who've been watching Eddie have seen him improve drastically in the last year, holding mitts here at the gym. So what's your thoughts on holding mitts?
I've learned a lot, and you know that. But no, I think it's a great way to teach. Matter of fact, I got a good one. I saw you doing this too. You know Andrew from the gym, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Drew came into the gym. Well, it was probably, I think, at the start, right? Like he was pretty much one of the,
He's been with us the whole time we've been open for the most part.
Right. Now, for a while, Drew was stuck pretty much. In the beginning, he was trying to figure it out, and we were working with him. We would do different things, but then he got some private lessons with Coach Ant, and it was mainly on mitts, going over certain things, certain details, and it was all done with the mitts. It wasn't really a lot of other things. I mean, don't get me wrong, there was some bagging, it was some shadow boxing, there was a lot of mitts though. And then all of a sudden, I seen Andrew come in. He took a couple It's like he took a week off and came back and was a whole different person. I'm like, damn. I see Drew in there actually now because normally he'd be the one taking the punishment. He actually out there giving it a little bit. And I'm like, damn, this is what Ant was doing with him with the mitts. I'm like, damn. I'm like, all right, Ant, let me think twice about these mitts. So, you know, I see him and then I see other kids that I've taken and I've started working with, and even some of my guys who aren't even in the gym, some of my private clients that I've worked with, and it's been mainly mitts, and it really has helped them improve and help them understand certain things from, you know, my point of view. You know what I mean? Which was the fighter at time for the longest. But now, even being a guy holding them, I'm able to show them stuff a little bit more from a fighting standpoint. So it's like if I'm opposite them, like we're fighting each other. So I'm showing them, hey, don't throw this punch like this because if you do, I can come over top of your jab and you know what I mean, and catch you with a right hand, or if you drop that, or if you're throwing a jab, I see that right hand dropping and I catch him with a left hook. You know what I'm saying? It really, I think the mitts from that particular standpoint helps them understand from a fighter's perspective. Like I've even heard things like my guy Bashir, who was whole mitts for me, he would say, you know, this was, you know, some years ago now, he would do it as if he was fighting. It was like, yo, you can literally, if you don't have sparring and it's like short notice fight or something, you got to jump in. It's an opportunity for you. He literally hold the mitts like it's a fight. You know what I'm saying? I know, and you do that. You could do that too and treat it like it's a fight where you can kind of, it's not sparring and you can't say it compares that much to sparring, but at least it gives you something and some idea of what a fight might be like. And then the trainer knows what you need, so that can actually help too. So, and then on top of all that, I feel like the pace of it, making you throw punches, testing your conditioning, you know, adding other little things like when me and you were working, getting ready for the fight, they was putting bands on my waist, and that shit was making me mad. I couldn't stand. I was like trying to fight through it, but it takes you from, you know, just hitting, you know, it's just not just hitting mitts anymore. At that point, it's really turning you into a literally a better fighter. You know what I mean? And as the holder, I can see so much and so many things that I can do with my fighters so much better when holding mitts. That's why you see Freddie Roach doing it too. Even with Parkinson's, even having all these issues, he still does it. Must be pretty important when you see a guy who's struggling to even walk sometimes, still holding mitts for his fighters.
Right. Nah, yeah, 100%, man. I think mitt work is definitely one of the best ways to teach because a lot of people, that's how they get motivated. And whatever's gonna motivate your person to do this stuff, you know what I mean? And I think that mitts is definitely one of the better ways, you know, and it's very intimate. You can kind of like, you know, make a person like really feel like they're learning and understanding now, you know. And we all know that when you're doing repetition, it can get a little boring. So the mitts also helps keep things fun, keeps things intriguing. So yeah, man, I definitely think that mitts is good. And I know you, for somebody who's been on both sides of it, you're starting to appreciate it from a coach's perspective on how, like I see all the members at the gym line up when you're holding mitts now. Like,
yeah, man.
Eddie would literally have, no lie, and I'm not making this up for this video right now. I'll record it next time. He'll have an assembly line of people just lined the fuck up, like waiting for their turn to hit the damn mitts. Like Eddie's holding, and you got these kids online like they're getting some free lunch at school or something. They're just online waiting. They're all waiting for their turn to hit the mitts because Eddie decided, okay, I'm gonna hold mitts for this particular group of people, and they're all like, they get off the bag, they stop doing what they, because that's what gets them motivated.
Yeah. Like you see them, like I know when it happened. I'll be holding for one kid, and then another one slide up. Then I'll see a dude with their glove. They go put the damn gloves on. I'm like, shit, here we go again, bro. This is gonna be a long day. There was a couple times I was over with 2 hours, bro, holding the damn mitts for like 5 or 6 different people in the ring. They had me hostage in there. I was in there like for almost the whole night holding mitts. That should be crazy. It's fun, but it's crazy sometimes.
Yeah, so make sure you guys go ahead, get on the waiting list. I'm putting the link in there for like the 10th time. go ahead, fill your name out the waiting list, because when this releases, I'm giving out a special deal to every single person who's on the list. Okay, a special deal for you guys who believed in it and decided that you guys wanted to get on the list. Also, just so you guys know, the Black Friday sale is officially active. Every single thing on my website, from my master boxing bundle to my individual courses to my to what you call it, my mini bundles, it's all on sale right now. So let me just go ahead and do something real quick. I'm gonna definitely put the link in here. I need you guys to go check out CoachAnthonyBoxing.com. I get a lot of boxing questions, guys. I can guarantee you that it's already been answered in these courses with demonstrations. I mean, we've covered so much, man. We got 16 courses, y'all. A lot of people ask me, Coach Anthony, when's the next course that you're dropping? I'm like, bro, did you get all 16 courses? Because if you didn't get all 16, you might want to go back to the website, go see what else we got up there, because there's other stuff that you haven't even learned yet, and you're waiting for me to make the next drop. You know what I mean? But right now, the focus is definitely going to be $1 Million Mitts. We got the Black Friday sale. Yeah, we're giving away all the secrets, bro. I'm giving them all away. You know why? Because at the end of the day, you can't take this stuff with you. You know what I mean? And I love teaching people online because I'm going to be honest, man. I've gotten some great results teaching people online. I've had over 5,000 students come through my courses over the last decade. And I've gotten thousands of testimonials. And it's just appreciated. I feel like online people appreciate you sometimes more than the people in person, Eddie. And I think you're going to get that. Now that you're online, you know what I mean, with your stuff. What's your channel again? What's your YouTube channel again?
Fight Like a Pro.
Fight Like a Pro. So Eddie got his own YouTube channel. He's got his Instagram, Fast Eddie Chambers. You guys can definitely go check out Eddie over there, and you'll see. And you're like, Eddie, go to your comments, bro. I guarantee you're getting all types of love and stuff through the comments. So people online have a way of showing true appreciation. And even though we've never met each other in person and shook each other's hand, I feel the love. You know what I mean? Look, I got people in here that's been hanging out with us for an hour and 40 minutes, man. I mean, I want to thank everybody who's taking the time out their night to come hang out, ask me my questions. You could be anywhere. You're chilling with us. So I appreciate that. And for the people who watch this a little bit later, I know not everybody could watch this live. You know what I mean? I appreciate you guys too. You know what I mean? So like my man said, I could barely wait to pull up. You know what I mean? Like that's appreciated, bro. Like that's appreciation. I got people that I see every day that don't tell me stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's crazy, man. So shout out to you guys, man. Last question. If you have anxiety, how do you overcome it before a boxing match? Eddie, you're the pro. You go ahead and answer that.
Oh, man. Honestly, man, it's just you understand what you're getting into. Obviously, you've been fighting for a while. Even if you're just, becoming a fighter, you know what I mean? At the pro level, even if it's an amateur fight. At the end of the day, you got to get in there. You know what I mean? Do whatever it takes to not do what I would have done as a kid. And if I had my license in my first fight, I would have drove out of there. Don't do that. But no, man, it's just trusting in what you've done, the amount of work you put in. I'm taking it. You've put a lot of work in, and believing that whatever happens, especially if you're in the amateurs and you're just getting started out, whatever happens is going to help you improve in the long run. You know what I mean? Obviously, anxiety and difficulty with nerves and stuff like that is going to happen. You're human. You know what I mean? But once the first punch is thrown, it all goes by the wayside. And you just got to believe that. Get into that ring. Even if the first fight is tough because of the nerves and it doesn't really release like you would like it, over time, it will get better. You know what I mean? And you just got to keep believing in it. If you love the sport and you want to keep doing it, you got to get out there and you got to get okay with the idea of being in a rough situation. You got to make tough stuff easy. You know what I mean? And comfortable for you. So you got to get used to being comfortable with being uncomfortable. And, once you do that, then the chaos will be easy for you. You know what I'm saying? The kind of chaos that the ring brings will feel like nothing. You know what I mean? So just continue to keep on going and keep on getting better. Keep working your craft, and you won't have any issues with the nerves. Well, I mean, you're still going to be nervous, but you're not going to have the same issues that you had in the past with it.
Yeah, 100%, man. Another thing that I think that has helped for me, and I've seen help a lot of fighters, is prayer before a fight. Prayer seems to calm you down. So just say a little prayer. You know what I mean? You know, I used to always say to myself, I would always say, like, I say, God, please just let me do my best today. And whenever I would do that, I swear it's like I just felt calm. Like I would be nervous, and then that would make me calm. I'll go into the bathroom, got to take that piss before I spar. Like it'd be like, and as I'm doing it, I'm thinking, I'm like, all right, let me do my best today. Especially if I knew I was boxing somebody good. You know what I mean? I would always like have to say that to myself, and then everything would feel a lot easier for me. A lot of fighters do that before their fights. They all hold hands. They'll pray, whether you believe or whatever you believe in. I still think having that talk with you and and your higher self is what's going to make you just feel that sense of calm. So try prayer. You know what I mean? If you haven't done that before, I think that also helps with the anxiety. You know what I mean? But like Eddie said, man, if you've been doing everything you're supposed to do in the gym, when you get into the ring, once that first punch gets thrown, it all goes away. You know what I mean? Now it's just time to do what you've been working on. You know what I mean? And that's what it comes down to. But don't get into that ring if you're not ready. Don't get into that ring if you haven't been training, if you haven't been listening to your coach, if you haven't been living the lifestyle, because you can really seriously get hurt.
100%.
One more thing. Somebody said, Coach, can you please explain to these women that $300 come back to you and that there's more in these courses that's not in the YouTube videos? Yo, 100%. Thank you, Postman, since 1991. You're a proud postman, I see. I appreciate that. But yeah, 100%, man. Listen, Eddie got his own YouTube channel now, and Eddie's teaching his style of boxing now. I'm sure he's going to be releasing stuff now. But Eddie has been a big part of my courses over this last 16 courses, actually, even with the $1 Million Mitts, you know what I'm saying? But, collectively together, anything that I've put out, any instruction that I've given and Eddie's demonstrated has been something that, we both agreed on. So how much thought would you say has been put into these courses as far as just the information and the price that I'm giving? Like, truthfully, Eddie, like from a non-salesman perspective, like my man said right here, just what are your thoughts?
Man, I mean, you can't put 30 in 25 years. I mean, honestly, the amount of money, you can't even put money into that. I mean, the fact that you're getting it for this price is wild, that you don't have to, you know what I'm saying? This has been amassed over damn near 50 years, if you put us together, of work and I mean, punches to the head. You know what I'm saying? Countless camps. You know what I mean? This information is just valuable to the highest degree. So I mean, there's too much game here for you. For the price you're getting it for, it's almost like it's free. You know what I mean? If you decide not to partake in it, that's on you. But the reality of it is, there's too much information here for you not to take advantage of this. You're doing a disservice to yourself if you don't. And I'm not saying that trying to be a salesman. Fact is, there's so much energy that has been put into this, so much knowledge, so much information. There's just too much to not take advantage of it. And like I said, if you decide not to, that's completely up to you. But for the price you're getting it for right now, you have to. It's almost like you have to.
Yeah, it's crazy, bro. So look, I'm selling individual courses right now for $47, Eddie. I got mini bundles, all right, which is 3 courses or more for $47. That's just these particular bundles that I've given out. And then of course we got the Master Boxing bundle, all 16 courses for $267. Now I've sold, when I first started, I was selling individual courses for $997. Then it dropped down over time. Then eventually I started selling them for like $300. Then it went down to like $150. Like, I've been doing this over a decade. So these courses really are at this price because they've been out for so long. And I really haven't dropped nothing new in like 2 years. But truthfully, man, they're worth every penny. I mean, you got people that come into the gym and pay more for a month of training, and they're still stuck on build you from the ground up level. You know what I mean? I'm giving you stuff that everything. I'm just giving it all away in course value. Now, the difference is, of course, we're not next to you, but if you have the time and the patience to sit there and watch the courses, you're going to learn so much, man. And you're going to be able to apply so much, even from a trainer's perspective. You might be looking for different ways to teach something. Now you could go ahead and hear it from me on how I teach it. And then you can say, okay, I like how he taught that. I can put my spin on it, whatever the case may be. So it's just valuable in all different ways. I know it is for a fact. I've gotten thousands of testimonials. So It's Black Friday month. You know, I always go crazy and try to give out. This is the one time of the year where I, give these type of prices. So anyway, man, that's it for tonight, Eddie, man. I want to say thank you for your time. This week, we're going to do some live demonstrations. I don't know how many times Eddie can be on the lives this week, but we're going to take advantage as many of them as we can get out of them. You know what I mean? And make sure you guys check this channel out, Fight Like a Pro. Check them out on Instagram. Fast Eddie Chambers, and be on the lookout because I know Eddie's going to have something for you guys real soon. So, yeah, man. Thank you to everybody in the chat. And that's it, man. One last time for the commercial, and we out of here. Peace.
For $1 Million Mitts. Why did I call this $1 Million Mitts? Because I'm gonna make you look like $1 million bucks, man. As long as you let me guide you, as long as you listen, as you learn the stuff that I'm gonna teach you with a pair of mitts. I'm gonna level up your mitt game 100%. I got a lot of things to say about mitt work because mitt work literally changed my life.
What's his full name? What's Coach Anthony's? Anthony's first name was Anthony's last name.
Anthony Rodriguez, Coach Anthony, and that corner of Ray Ford.
A lot of people don't know when I first came into this boxing game as a trainer, mitts was really what people hired me for. Working with professional fighters that put me in world title corners right off the bat just because they liked the way I hold a pair of mitts. This is something that your clients are gonna love. This is something that your fighters are gonna love. Always a lane for somebody who knows how to hold mitts. The one thing that I could say is if you're gonna do something, you wanna do it the right way. I like to think that I'm a person who could teach you how to do this at the highest level, considering I've been to the highest level of boxing.
2 rounds, and you're a world champion, but you gotta work.
He is the defending world champion, fighting tonight
With head trainer, Freddie Anthony Rodriguez.
I work with some of the best boxers in the world. Mitts is what literally put me in that position. You could be a great coach, you could be a great teacher, you could be a great personal trainer. But this is what's gonna capture their eyes. This is what's gonna make people look at you and make people say, hey man, that guy knows what he's doing. I wanna go ahead and work with that person. I'm gonna teach you, it doesn't matter if you have 0 experience or if you have a lot of experience, there's gonna be modules in this course that's gonna help level you up.
Sean. You see that?